Hello everyone, and in this lecture I'll be teaching you all about Gridsome's directory structure, which includes all of the files and folders inside of our project. So the first thing we're going to be learning about is a package.json file, which is inside of the root of your project. I'm just going to open that up, and you can see it has the name of your package, and that is going to be what you used when you ran the Gridsome create, and you can see it's also the name of the folder. And this is a private package, and you can see all of the scripts that we run. So we do, if I just stop my server, you can do npm run, and then you can do build, and that's how you build your project, develop, and that's what we use to run our project in development, so then we can open it up inside of our browser right here. And finally, you can see the dependencies, and this includes Gridsome, which is what we're using to make our whole project. And it'll also include your plugins or Vue components that you're going to be using later. So if you're installing them and adding them into your project. The next file that we're going to be learning about is the gridsome.config.js, which is also located in the root of your folder. And so the root is basically just right underneath the folder of our project. So it's the first element inside of it. All of the elements inside of these folders would be secondary elements. So we're going to be learning about the gridsome config.js. You can see inside of here, we enter data about our project inside of here. So we have our site name, and then we have our site URL, and obviously both of these are examples. You would put in what your site URL and site name are, and then also you add in your plugin and plugin configuration inside of here. So I'm actually just going to change the site name right now, and I'm going to name it Portfolio Blog. And then we can also just take away our site URL, or can we comment? Yeah, we can comment inside of this. So now we're going to be learning how to use this inside of later lectures. Now we're going to be using the folder that we're probably going to be working in for most of our time using Gridsome. So that is the source folder right here. So let me open this up. And you can see all of these folders in here that we're going to be learning about in this lecture. And then you can see a main.js file. And so this is what we're going to be learning about right now. So I'm just going to open that up. And you can see right here, we have already some code inside of here, and it's basically just setting a default layout, so then we don't have to import it into all of our pages. So we're going to be learning about that later, but so we're importing default layout, and then we're importing that from the layouts folder, and then we're just setting the layout as the default layout. Also, you're able to import global CSS and scripts inside of here, as you can see right here. And so I just want to create a default styling or a CSS file that makes the HTML, the width 100%, height 100 vertical heights, margin 0, and padding 0, so that I don't have to add that onto every single one of my pages. So I'm going to do that is I'm going to create an assets folder inside of our source, and then I'm just going to create styles.css. And then I have some CSS code that I'm just going to paste in here. And you can see it's just HTML comma body, and it's just adding in these stylings, so then we don't have to add it inside of all of our layouts. So I'm actually going to add in a background in here, and we're just going to set that to black. So we're going to be able to see if this is working or not. So if I go into our Gridsome page, you can see the background is still white. Well, that's because we have to import it inside of main.js. So how you do that is you go into here and write import, and then you're just going to open up a quote, a single quote, and then we're going to do, so we're going to do source, which is this symbol right here, and then we're going to do slash, and then so the source is this folder right here, and then we want to go into the assets folder, which is right here, and then styles.css. So let's do source slash assets slash styles.css. So now it'll be loading in this styles.css into every single page. So to make sure that we're able to see the changes, I'm just going to add in a background of, let's say, red. So it'll probably look bad, but yeah, so as you can see, it's changing the background of all of these pages to red. because this style sheet is being loaded onto every single page. So you could use this to reset the default styling for certain elements, like the unordered list and ordered list. They have a default padding. You could just do padding 0, and that'd remove the padding for the unordered and ordered list. Now we're going to be learning about pages inside of Gridsome. So to view all of our pages, we can go into our source folder, and then we can go into the pages directory. And as you can see, we already have some pages created for us. So the template is where we're going to be adding in all of our HTML code. And then in the script, we're obviously going to be using JavaScript, Vue.js, and then you can also have a style inside of these Vue files. And so the routing, it automatically generates routes for your website for all of the pages inside of your pages directory. So this index.vue page, it will actually, inside of your website, you're going to be able to go to it by just going to, actually I should be using the about.vue because index is automatically loaded. As you can see here, it says hello world, and if I go into the index.vue, you can see it says hello world with this image above it. So it automatically generates routes for these pages that is in kebab case or dash case. So basically how that works is if I have this about.vue, that translates into site/about. So it turns it all lowercase. And so if I had like about us.vue, that would translate into /about-us. So I can go to this page for about by just going to our website right here, /about. You can see it went to the about page. So now the second thing that we're going to be learning about is layouts, and that's right here. So I can open up our layout, and you can see that we have our default layout.vue, and that's what we're importing so that we can use in every single one of our pages instead of the main.js. So you can see we're importing the layout. So basically what a layout is it takes all of the code inside of this layout tag right here, and it just inserts it inside of this slot tag right here. So then we're going to have all of this code right here above and below and outside of this slot that's going to be loaded in. So then we won't have to add in a header onto every single one of our pages. We can just put it inside of the layout and then have this content loaded inside of the layout. I'll be able to show it to you. So then if I go back to our home right here, you can see that this header right here, it has the home and about, and both of these pages are being loaded into it. If I change something on this header right here, if I change this from the site name and I put in test, then you can see that the name is test, and if I go to the other page, it's still test because it's loading in this same code. So then if you had to change something, you wouldn't have to repaste in your code onto all of these other pages. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lecture, and I hope it wasn't too long or boring for you guys. I hope I see you guys in the next video.